It was supposed to be a simple corporate gathering, a night to relax, mingle, and celebrate the company's latest victory. My wife, Hannah, had been the one pushing me to go. "Come on, Mark," she'd said with that persuasive smile of hers. "Everyone's bringing their partners. It'll be fun." I agreed, mostly because things between us had felt off lately. She'd been working late, coming home exhausted, distant. Maybe, I thought, an evening out together would help bridge whatever gap had grown between us. When she walked out of the bedroom that evening, everything stopped. The silver dress she wore shimmered softly under the light, hugging her in all the right ways. She looked breathtaking so much so that I felt lucky just standing beside her. I didn't know then that the same night would shatter the way. I saw her forever. The venue itself was a picture of elegant crystal chandeliers, soft jazz floating through the air, waiters gliding by with trays of champagne. For a while, everything felt pleasant, almost perfect. Hannah chatted easily with her colleagues, laughing, introducing me around. Then I noticed him. Brandon, tall, confident, effortlessly charming, the kind of man who seemed to draw attention without even trying. I'd heard his name before. He was the marketing director who had sealed that massive deal last quarter. Hannah introduced us. "Mark, this is Brandon, the one I told you about, the genius behind the big account." He shook my hand, offering a polite smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. There was something smug there, a flicker of familiarity between him and Hannah that twisted my stomach. As the evening went on, Brandon stayed close, too close. It began innocently, enough shared jokes, friendly banter, but as the night deepened, the boundaries blurred. When the band struck up a slow tune, he leaned toward her. "Come on, Hannah. Dance with me." She hesitated, looked at me for a moment, then laughed softly and took his hand. I watched them move to the floor, her silver dress catching the light as he pulled her closer than any man should hold another man's wife. His hand slid to her waist, then lower. She didn't step away. She smiled, whispered something that made him grin wider. My chest burned. Around us, people noticed. Some glanced awkwardly. Others smiled as if it were harmless fun. But it wasn't harmless. Not to me. When his hands wandered again, I stood. The laughter, the chatter, the music, all of it faded into a dull hum as I walked toward them. I tapped his shoulder. Brandon turned, wearing that same arrogant smirk. "Relax, man, it's just a dance." I kept my voice calm. "Then dance with me." For a second, he thought I was joking, until I stepped forward, forcing him to release her hand. Hannah's eyes widened, fear flashing across her face. "Mark, please." I didn't look at her. Instead, I leaned close to Brandon and said quietly, "Touch her again, and you'll never set foot in this company again." The smirk vanished. He blinked, uncertain. Then realization hit. Because what he hadn't known, what Hannah hadn't thought to mention, was that earlier that week, my firm had completed the acquisition that made me the controlling partner of this company. The room fell silent. The band stumbled to a stop. "You're Mark Reynolds?" he stammered. I nodded. "The one who signs your checks now." A murmur spread through the crowd like a wave. Brandon's face drained of color. He muttered something that sounded like an apology before backing away, disappearing toward the bar. I turned to Hannah. My voice was quiet, steady. "Having a good time?" Her face flushed, her voice trembling. "It's not what it looked like, Mark." A bitter laugh escaped me. "No, it looked exactly like what it was." I walked out. I didn't look back. She came home hours later, makeup smudged, voice sharp. "You embarrassed me tonight," she snapped. I stared at her, exhausted. "No, Hannah, you embarrassed yourself." I just stopped pretending not to see it. She cried, apologized, insisted it was innocent. But I couldn't forget the way she'd looked at him, the way her smile belonged to someone else. In the days that followed, whispers spread through both companies. Brandon kept his head down, avoiding my gaze. Hannah tried to carry on as if nothing had happened, but something between us had already broken. Trust doesn't mend once it's shattered like that. Eventually, I packed a bag and left. She begged me to stay, to talk. But sometimes silence says everything words can't. I never fired Brandon. I didn't have to. That night had already stripped him and her of all their masks. One dance was all it took to uncover the truth. She'd already left me long before the music even began.